Hello there, my name is Ben.
And my name's Chris.
And welcome back to Play the Game Central for our coverage of the brand new Zombies map, Mob of the Dead. Now, Chris and I today are here to discuss the storyline of Alcatraz. But before I do that, I just wanted to mention a couple of things to give you a bit of leverage in terms of understanding where this storyline is. Now, it's very, very simple to get this confused with what's going on with the other storyline that we have. But for now, what you need to do is put it out of your mind, because this map is in its own little bubble. So don't refer anything that happens in this map to anything outside. The zombies aren't being controlled by Samantha, not Maxis. It's nothing to do with anything. This is a completely separate storyline which is housed within the vicinity of this map and the Golden Gate Bridge. Now, Chris, you have a theory about Arlington and the whole way that the cycle ends. Can I just quickly explain what I think the Easter egg is resolving?
Yeah.
So in the last couple of steps of the Easter egg, we have this tour around the Alcatraz from the guard that we met at the beginning. And he mentions all these things. He says, Arlington was planning with these other three conspirators to leave, to actually escape Alcatraz. But tensions within the group meant that the three other characters ended up killing Arlington on the roof, and they were sentenced to death by electric chair. So they all died. That's what happened in real life. That happened, not in real life, but in the storyline's real life. That's what happened. They all died, and we can put that aside. Now, my idea for the ending of the Easter egg and how it actually ties in is that what happens on the Golden Gate Bridge is that to complete the cycle, Arlington kills the other three people. So it's kind of like the whole map to me is in limbo. It's in purgatory. This is what the map represents, and at the end, the final kind of requiem is this reprise where Arlington ends up killing the other three, which comes full circle because that's the opposite of what happened to begin with. That's how I saw the Easter egg. Would you say that that's fair to say that that's fairly accurate?
Yeah.
But you have your own idea about how the actual cycle works. Do you want to explain that?
So yeah, I think Weasel was actually needed for something in the story. When you die in the very first time, it puts you into this kind of loop where you keep getting revived back at Alcatraz, and every time you try to escape on the plane or whatever it is, he keeps getting sent back because he keeps leaving in the wrong way and keeps dying in some way. So when you actually leave the island differently, you build a plane in a previous life, because every time you go to the Golden Gate Bridge, kill yourself and come back, you're doing another step in the cycle. Instead, this time the cycle will be different because the plane is already built. Then you leave when you're dead. That kind of breaks the cycle and then allows them to revive themselves at the Golden Gate Bridge, and then have the ultimate standoff at the bridge. So yeah, the black and white version is the original version, and anything after that is what's stuck in the loop. If you go into the tour when it's in black and white and you have a look at the perks, you'll see there'll be phasing. How the perks kind of go into black and white and phase out every now and again. In the map, if you go into the black and white part of the tour, you'll notice that they'll constantly be phased out because, they've not been invented yet, so they're kind of phasing in and out between all the loops. So when you see the cinematic and it changes from the black and white to the color, and the Alcatraz is completely different, we're probably just seeing different phases of the loop. The first one obviously being their first escape, and then at the end of the trailer when they all die, just being another step in the loop and with the barbed wire. They've probably been there for a very long time. So that's why in the loading screen, in the black and white, but that's their first attempt, and when it goes into color, that's obviously when they're in the time loop and the different phases. Obviously they've been there for a long time, so it suddenly just kind of completely changes. They've been there for a long time, so there's lots of blood and bodies everywhere and barbed wire, which looks like a strange transition, but obviously it's just them stuck in the loop, and that's why it drastically changes halfway through the loading screen.
So that's it. I mean, in terms of Alcatraz and the Mob of the Dead, it's actually not that difficult to think about how the storyline works. It is a continual loop until you finish the Easter egg and you fly to the Golden Gate Bridge as spectral beings, as in afterlife mode, because at that point you break the cycle, and obviously killing Arlington or letting him kill you, would break the cycle, but killing him, the cycle continues, which is quite easy to understand, but please remember that this is its own storyline confined within the parameters of this map. Do not translate any of this story to any other map that may happen in the future, because it's just not going to work like that. Thank you very much, Chris, for joining me.
Thank you.
And we will see you in the next video, guys. Take care and goodbye.